call directors.
Norman?
Here.
Kaiser?
Here.
Campbell?
Here.
Stankowski?
Here.
Vinsky?
Here.
Bauer?
Here.
Hess?
Here.
Naylor? Zero.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4, approval of the agenda. I have a motion by Kaiser, a second by Coleman. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item 5, approval of the minutes from the February 17, 2026 meeting. Motion by Bauer, second by Zebro. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item 6, student board report. Ruby, how are you?
Good, how are you?
What did you do? What did you do the last 2 days off?
Scholarships and portfolio.
Okay, good job.
Say, is there anything you don't do? I see your name on the Beetlejuice thing.
A lot of things.
That was good.
I appreciate you studying it.
Very good.
Good for you.
All right, good evening. My name is Ruby Slicky, and I'm thrilled to share with you the successes of Mosinee students over the past month. Everyone has been busy with sports, clubs, and college and career readiness requirements. Student Senate's Winter Fest was a huge success in high school. From February 23rd to 27th, there were dress-up days and activities to raise student morale. On Tuesday, seniors competed against teachers in answer wars, the Mosinee version of Family Feud, where seniors were ultimately crowned champions. On Wednesday, students took to the stage to participate in a talent show. The week ended with a volleyball tournament where different classes seniors competed against the teachers. It was a fun week to be a part of. The Student Senate is already busy planning the meeting elements to take place in Philadelphia. Skills USA sent a group of students to the PW Scout Regional Competition from February 26th to 27th. They came back with valuable positive feedback and some hard-earned medals. The groups was the competition revealed their perseverance, dedication, and commitment to each other. As always, they had a lot of fun and made new friends. The Mosinee dance team ended the season strong with a showcase on February 28th. High school and middle school members performed solos and group dances to an audience in the middle school gym to celebrate the end of the year. Afterwards, they had a banquet where letters and awards were given out. Band and choir students competed at the solo and ensemble competition on March 7th. They spent many weeks practicing and perfecting their solos, duets, and ensembles, and many of them qualified for the state. The boys' basketball season ended on March 7th with a loss against, excuse my pronunciation, Yale Ettrick Trample.
Most people call them cat.
With the final score being 81-75. They want to thank the seniors for their leadership, tenacity, and ownership of their roles in the season. Track season is officially started on March 9th. We can't wait to see what they accomplish this season. The forensics team competed at the district competition on March 10th, and every single person is moving on to state. Girls basketball also went to state for the first time in 20 years. In a competition with #1 ranked Pittsburgh on March 12th, our team fought bravely and ultimately losing 63-50. But their experience was defined more than by a win or loss. The team explained that they're all best friends and they are encouraged by the bonding
presentation. A, discussion, presentation by Mosinee Community Athletic Association.
Bruce is here for that.
Thank you for giving me some time here. I'm Bruce Jamrose. I'm the treasurer with the Mosinee Community Athletic Association. Just thought I'd give you a brief update of what's happening out at the Mosinee Athletic Complex. I don't know how much you have in the packet, but I did put together
Oh, okay, there you
a
go.
few pages there. Mosinee Community Athletic Association, we've been in existence since 2006. So we're celebrating 20 years, no big parade or anything, but we're still going. We're trying to develop the Mosinee Athletic Complex, which is right next to the Boulevard building out there. We've completed 3 fields right now to date. Obviously the turf field, the football field, which is being used by Mosinee Youth Football, and then a brand new softball field, which is kind of new in 2025. The JV team plays out there right now. Our current project is a press box, which is going to be on top of the dugout. There's going to be some storage up there. That's on page 2. We did have a community business that stepped up recently to pay for that. So I'd like to thank Valley Community Credit Union for this addition that we're working on. Hoping to have that ready for the season. Our next project is going to be a concession stand, which will be in the middle of the cold relief that we have out there. Look on the map. We're going to hopefully start fundraising for that in 2027. So we might be back in front of you to see if there's any funding that you can provide for that. Obviously, we're going to go out to community foundations and some other businesses, hopefully to raise funds for that project. Right now, we do not have any bathrooms out there, and we do not have a concession stand. We have portable toilets and a portable concession stand. But we're looking to get something more permanent out there for all 3 fields and for the additional 2 fields we hope to build in the future. The last thing I want to just touch on again is the Mosinee softball field that we built, the MAC softball field. We had planned to build this before COVID, and then COVID came, prices increased, we had to do some more fundraising, but it is done now, and it's being used. Part of the thing that I wanted to make note of is that we used Skills USA to build the dugout roofs. Mosinee Manufacturing students built the benches inside those dugouts. So we did try to get the students involved as much as possible. There's some pictures there. We do have a Facebook page with information if you'd like to look at that. And then on the final page of this document, I've got all the other people that supported who were partners in the project, so you can look at that. So thanks to the community and thanks to the school board. Just wanted to give you that update. If there's anything else, we'll put that in.
Thanks, Bruce.
Bruce, thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. If you haven't gone over there, just to see the links of it. All right, item 7B, discussion of middle school presentation.
Thanks for having us. Okay, well, is grade school?
Miles Walsh, I'm 8th grade.
So a couple of guests with me tonight to help talk through and showcase some of the things happening at the middle school. So in addition to the great academic things that we have going on, productive members of our community and our society, and we know that these things are important. So every month, we have established a character trait of the month, and we do activities, we use things kind of around them. So that's just that.
We have a committee that kind of comes together to develop a checklist, so to speak, of things we try to have the teachers then take into the classroom and do with the students throughout the month. So sometimes it's an activity, sometimes it's a service learning project. It really just depends. We try to kind of change it up. Our goal eventually would hopefully be able to reach out to the elementary. I know this year it's been kind of crazy, but that has been a goal, and we hope to see that in the future. But again, our goal in doing so is just our ability to raise good humans and continuing to kind of put that message into kids. It's twofold. It's not just one. Yes, you're here for the academic part, and that is so important, and there are things that we need you to do here, but also being a good human and being part of our community and culture within our building. We continue to come back to in almost every conversation we have with kids on the building. So super important to us. A part of that then is our student of the month. So we changed things up just a little bit. We still recognize kids on the monthly, and what we do is we turn it back to that trait of the month. So in the month of February, we were looking for kindness. So every teacher in the building gets the opportunity to nominate a student. The kids don't know if they get nominated or not. And that was a little change from last year. So they sit in the audience and they wait for their name to be called. So everyone's kind of on the edge of their seat hoping that their name gets called and they get to be recognized by the entire student body. So they come across the stage, they get their certificate, and then we're able to just show how grateful we are for the great things they're doing. And again, that comes back to the different character traits throughout the month. So, we had one on empathy, we had one on giving back. November, we did a race, we did a food drive where we asked the different TAs to collect food. They got a point for every food, and then the TA with the most food won a reward or a prize. I think it was a donut party, or they got to kind of pick and choose. But then all of that food was donated within our community to families in need during that season. So again, just a way to encourage our kids to be good people in their community. Another thing that we did around the kindness is our students, we did a service learning project, so we took a handful of them, and it's hard because we can't always take all, 500 of them and do something, but kind of pick and choose different groups and different kids to be parts of different things. And in this situation, they wrote some notes and delivered them to members of the community, just telling them how awesome they are. And what a great treat when you get to your car and there's a note there to say, hey, especially if you're having a really rough day. The best part is there were interactions throughout that where we had high school kids going and interacting with them saying, oh my gosh, you left this on my car, that's the sweetest thing ever. And just to even see some of our high schoolers take on that role and be able to connect with kids is really cool.
So this is definitely not all encompassing, but I just wanted you to see some of the opportunities that our students at the middle school have to get involved that are also connected to those character traits. So every opportunity that we have, whether it's a club or activity or athletics, something new to this year, which are highlighted in yellow in this next slide. So same information, just the yellow ones are new to the middle school this year, are grounded in those character traits. And as we are working with kids, whether it's in the crowd slips or whether with our student ambassadors, we're, like Steph said, we're bringing it back to those traits all of the time. So I'm actually going to pass it on to Miles and Emma to kind of talk through some of the ones that are in yellow, and just kind of give you some information on what those 5 opportunities kind of encompass for our students.
So, recently in the beginning of the year, one of the guidance counselors in the middle school, Mrs. Will, brought together multiple students from each of the grades and basically just told us about a new program started called the Ambassador Program. And it just started out as something smaller, like helping the new students that were coming to our building, making them feel welcome where they maybe were a little uncomfortable. As we saw it go on, we saw that it needed more, and it quickly grew to helping students that were below us, who maybe needed a little more mentorship, teachers who maybe get to feel a connection with students. One of the big things we did was after Christmas break. We got together with the fourth graders, put all of that in this one.
The 8th grade student ambassador team created a slideshow of the games in order to review expectations of the fourth graders. Being an ambassador lets us build on our character traits that mostly the school is working so hard for.
So the Lunch with Heroes was a new thing this year. We did not do it last year, but it was something that we did after our Veterans Day assembly, on Veterans Day. What it really was after the Veterans Assembly, the veterans who came to the assembly we invited them back into the lunchroom for lunch on us with their kids or relatives or whoever. We did this so that the students could practice the characteristics that we tried very hard to maintain. One of the biggest ones was not up there, but it's communication. It's communicating with people that we may not normally communicate with. It's trying to make a good connection with somebody you may not know. And yeah, that's about it. It was just very nice, a nice way to connect with the community and make them feel welcome in our schools.
Twice a week, the 6th graders and the 4th graders get together and meet each other. This helps the students build on their character traits and allows the 6th graders to be role models to the younger students, and this helps both students build confidence. Doing this helps the students not only improve their reading skills, but helps the students talk to students who they usually don't know.
Another thing we do, just like the reading buddies, is student mentorship. So obviously there are different needs in the buildings, and those students have different needs, and sometimes those students have disabilities. So here, this is one of our 7th grade students talking with one of our 4th grade students. And this is just something to build a connection with a student you may never talk to, may never even met in your life. And as we started this, you can see behavior starting to become better because the students know that if they behave better in class, then they are guaranteed to have time with the people that they cherish with. So if you behave better in class, like if you're behaving good in class, then you get time to go to a puzzle with a student mentor, or you get time to go to a board game with a student mentor. And it just helps break up their day and make their day go a little faster so they have something to look forward to.
Proud slips are items that students get for doing what the staff asks them every day. In order to work a proud slip store, students had to apply and their application had to be accepted. Every kid that applied gets a chance to work at the proud slip store. They have a schedule and you have to show up on time to do your job. Getting these proud slips helps students become excited about doing their job, and students can choose to spend the proud slips or save them to get various items.
So I think one of the things, at the community up there is one of the things that we come back to a lot. And the examples that Emma and Miles talked you through definitely help build that middle school community, and they're building, connecting our older students with the students who are unique, and then we have 4th graders in the same building with 8th graders. So we really, we worked really hard to find ways to leverage that opportunity and turn it into a wonderful thing and a model those 8th grade students who are our role models, and we lean on them quite a bit to just kind of show them the ropes and just be a really positive influence overall. Anything else?
I will say, walking to school as an 8th grader for the first day this year, right off the bat, I could tell a demeanor change in the building, with people being more upbeat, more positive. And I just want to say thank you to the new staff in the building, not even just my mom and Mrs. Tree, but the new staff. How's that?
I hope you're going to Ruby's going to be graduating. Maybe we'll be six.
Any questions?
Great job on your presentation. I just had one on the student mentor program. How many mentors do you guys have right now?
3 at the moment.
Yeah. Is
Like,
it like
it
a
really comes about it.
1-to-1 ratio? One
It is.
mentor for every
Yep,
student?
and it really comes down to a need. So in that situation, a schedule change needed to happen. We had some times that we needed to fill, and we often go back to how can we involve other kids in this process. And again, because it is unique that we have 4th through 8th grade, we have those opportunities, and I think it just gets them ready for the next step, right? When they go to high school, and there's all of these things that they can be a part of and hopefully leverage. Really, we kind of have to create that sometimes at that level, but.
Do all of your 6th grade students read this?
It's not all, no, so a select group of students, and it's connected to reading goals, actually. So students who have reading goals, whether it's building fluency or building, comprehension skills. So partnering them to have a space that they can read out loud to somebody who doesn't feel as intimidating or is not in front of an entire 6th grade classroom. So reading to a 4th grader or feel older and feel just creates a different environment for that.
What else, Emma? Nice job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for all
Yeah,
your
thank
hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Item 7C, discussion technology annual presentation.
Alright. Alright, instead of doing a presentation, I made an infographic. You all have it on you. So, a lot of people are like, they wonder what I do all day, just hand out Chromebooks and make the internet work, and if the internet doesn't work, they're just calling me like today's good. So, I just wanted to put some numbers and talk about what is all behind us and what we have here in Mosinee. So, in the top left corner, the operation by the numbers. So we have about 2,000 students and 300 employees, and we maintain that all those accounts in all the different programs. I looked up how many help desk tickets we had in the last year, and that was 2,022 help desk tickets that we marked as completed. There's numerous undocumented support as well. There's 2,613 managed computing devices, and you might be like, well, that's more than the number of users. But the teachers have a Chromebook and a laptop. I have more than one device. We have the labs in different spots. So students at the elementary have computers, but then Chris has computers. And then there's just computers maintaining different things. So that's our fleet of devices. I was just going through our software the last few weeks to evaluate what we need to renew. And there's 98 different types of software that we support and set up throughout the year. Those are instructional pieces of software that kids log into, and a lot of them are operational pieces of software, like our camera system or Skyward. And then there's a lot of systems that you probably haven't heard of, but they run different things on the backside.
On that one, because that one surprised me really quick sorry to cut you off. Do you know how many times like some of those are logged into? Like, do you identify ones that you're like, oh, we do this in
Yeah.
6 months?
Yeah, we have looked at that. A lot of them are operational. I mean, I have the breakdown. Some of them are sped specifically, so we have just for certain kids.
Okay.
So, and there's quite a few that are just for elementary school, or maybe there's a software that we set up for AP biology, but nobody else. So, there's 281 phone extensions. I had to specifically look that up because we're licensed for 300, and we're adding, I think, 17 to the new edition. So we're getting real close there on the number of phones in our system. And then on the right block there, the infrastructure and hardware, we have 49 switches and 143 access points. So the 2 core switches are in the library, and then there's different switch closets throughout the district. I'm excited to actually close Boulevard now because that's another whole building to maintain across town. So if we actually close that down, that'll be nice to not have to maintain the line we have out there and everything set up on the other side of town. We have 18 servers and 23 battery backups, one of which did not work today when Steve decided to change the power. It should have stayed running, but he didn't tell anybody, but it was okay because it should have stayed running and it didn't, so we're gonna have to check the battery backup on one of our closets. But all of our servers and switches have battery backups, so in the event of a power outage, our phone stays working for a few hours, smart TVs, and then 28 TVs, just like in this room, it's just a TV, it's not a touch screen. We have 111 cameras and 25 door access controllers. That is also going to increase with the new addition. We're adding a lot more cameras and more doors. Cybersecurity and data privacy. So on average, we block about 960 spam emails a day, and over 3,000 risky sign-ins or malware attempts are blocked. That's what the numbers came out in our Sentinel-1, which is our antivirus. It says it's blocking about that much. We have MFA and staff training. So MFA is the two-factor setup on all of our financial accounts and our Gmail accounts. So people not only need their password, but they also need a code to get into. We have mandatory annual training and monthly phishing tests. So that means every month it sends out a test, and if you fail that test, you have additional training. We have multi-layer protection, level filtering. So students have different filtering levels. Most students are in what we call green, which means they have access to all the things outside of gambling and some things that we would obviously block for all kids. But then we have a yellow filter, which kids are more restricted, and then we have the red filter. We have a little stop right there. Firewall, antivirus, endpoint detection. Endpoint detection is really important because usually when something happens, it doesn't happen during school hours, it's outside of school hours, and so it is monitoring our system for anything that malicious, and then it alerts us right away. Student safety and screen time. So I know there was a question recently about screen time, and I looked into it even more. Securely recently bought a third party. It's called and they incorporated it into their digital safety suite, and we have access to it, and they retitled it Reveal. We had to push that out to all of our student Chromebooks, and then have those kids restart it, and then it'll start monitoring their screen time. And we haven't had the kids here, all of them here in a week. And we had it set up for a few days before that, so I don't have data for you right now, but I will have data for you that I plan to bring back to you next month, because we did push that out in the last couple of weeks and have it set up. It has a little dashboard where you can monitor that. All right, major projects on the horizon. So I'm really excited about these. We have infrastructure rewiring, so if you were to pop open our ceilings, you would see trays running down the hall that are full of wires. They have the old phone system, they have coax cables, they have Cat 5. We need Cat 6 in order to, or Cat 6A to run all of the new access points and switches. So we're basically, and we can't add more cables on top because it's a structural problem. I mean, if you see what was in the ceiling, it's just a mess of cables. So we're basically cleaning house and rerunning new cabling. That was part of the big project. So that's going to be, there's going to be times this summer where you don't have internet in certain parts of the building because they're running all the cabling out. The next thing is a new IPPA system, so that's paging and announcement system. So that's going to be installed in the middle school and high school, and it's going to run off the clocks, and it's going to be a big security upgrade because our current PA system is not functioning properly, to say the least. It's a real problem. So I'm really excited about that upgrade. We're doing a walkthrough actually later this week to figure out the placement of all the speakers, and that should be installed this summer. There's $376,000 in federal E-rate money that has been secured for our district to be spent over the next 5 years. A chunk of that will be spent on the recabling and then getting some new switches and access points for the new addition. But we have 5 years to spend that, and that the way that is set up is that budget is a 50% funded by the federal government and 50% funded by us. And we have a district-wide printer refresh this summer, so we're getting new printers and copiers district-wide. We're at the end of our cycle with Leo Johnson. And Brent always purchased old printers or copiers, and we actually have a deal with Ricoh. They have special pricing that is, they're on sale, and it's going to be, I think the first time our district has had actual new copiers ever. So I'm pretty excited about that. I don't think the teachers know yet, but we'll see when they show up if they actually know work. All right, and at the bottom is just our goals in general. So our department goals, and those haven't changed. But basically, the first two are instructional goals. They're about instruction, professional learning, and they're on the instruction side of the house. And then the other two are operational, and they deal with hardware, infrastructure, support, maintenance. So, are there any questions? Yes.
On the wood batteries and the are those secure, so just only certain people can get in, or they locked?
They're in all our switch closets. So it's us and maintenance, usually the only people who can get in.
Is there any way anybody else could get in?
I'm hoping with the new rekeying that they only are keyed to the master key basically. There is, actually, there's one switch closet that really worries me at the elementary school because it is open. Where the copy machines are and everybody kind of has access to that. Everything else is locked door with our switches.
I know you have another question, I just want to jump in real quick. She brought up rekeying. One of the things I said since day one, I wanted to get part of this building project was to rekey the district. So tomorrow we have the meeting with a keying company to rekey the entire district, so we don't have 3 master keys per building. We're carrying around 9 and 10 keys just to get in. So we're going to rekey everything in the district with the exception of the old part of the middle school because of the door that would require a knob and a complete change to it. So just eliminating some of the cost of that update. We're going to do everything but that section. And I know conversations with the PD, they're pretty excited about it because now they have to try to figure out what door, if they have to go in a door in a crisis, they have to figure out which master key goes to which door. Now they'll be able to have one master key that opens all of the interior doors across the entire district. So, no. I
The only other
didn't-
question I had was with the doors, is there any way any doors can be left open that you're not aware of? Like if kids might put a hole or a shoe in the door?
Are you talking to get into the building or get
Yes.
into our school?
Yes.
So there is, anytime a door is propped open, there's screens in the offices and, yeah, it turns from green to red. The secretary's actually on it. And I
Well, like,
think
over the
it
weekend.
emails to your staff when it's been propped open.
They have it?
Yes,
Right.
yes, that's included in
If
it.
it's been oversized, one time.
Keyways, and Steve, you might, I don't know how much you were involved in that, this kind of conversation when you were out, but the keyway is not, is part of, it's not part of the lock now, it's a separate keyway. So it would have to be part of the knob, so it would require basically a whole new door and a whole new knob system. I have to call probably at least 30 or 40.
It's very pricey at that point. We just do the sleeves inside, that's what we do with the same.
Yeah, so the rest of the doors, we just have to replace the keyway, which is just the round cylinder that's inside the door.
We have a plethora of different keyways too, so that's the problem. So we've got to get this down as manageable.
I think eventually the plan is to maybe not use some of those areas in the middle school, like I can't run wires in the walls, right, wires on the outside, because we need to integrate the walls.
Other questions?
Yes, I have questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we scrubbing
applied for a COPS grant, did not get it, that would help pay for
The PA and
PA
the
system
wiring.
and the wiring.
Yes. And we're reapplying for that one.
Okay. Have we looked at all, and I don't even know if it is applicable to our district, but the DPI one that's due June 6th for the IT education grant, have we looked at that at all? Is that potential OJT? Yes.
What's the name of it?
It's an application package for information technology education grant. So only for certain school districts, but it's through the DPI, available until June 6th this year.
Any other questions?
I assume all of our security cameras, they all use the same software around all
Yeah.
schools? Around each school uses the same.
Yeah. If you log in, you can see,
Is any of that utilize AI yet, or is that all? No.
no, it records, all, we tried one time to only record motion, but then it would turn on after the event. So
Yep.
we just record all the time, all of the. I tell the principals, record some days, so we just really same. That's how much storage we have, it's different ones. So adding more cameras, we're gonna have to look at that too. Some of the cameras we have, turned up to higher resolution, and other cameras not.
Any other questions?
One last one, maybe, with our, we, obviously, we're probably included in all this cybersecurity, I'm sure, stuff, covered for that.
Usually about now, I get an email from the manager that has to go through this, and I didn't get it this one, but usually right now.
That's kind of what I was thinking, like, we could do both.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. Item 7B, discussion construction update.
Quick items for you folks. First of all, project schedule is always most important. The building project, the building itself is on schedule. Now, the snow we just had is going to push back our site for probably we're scheduled with that April, first week of April, but we'll see what Mother Nature brings us. So that's just kind of a bit in flux. Currently, we're working on a lot of finishes, so painting has begun in the two-story section, spraying out the upper part with some steel. And then also, high school offices have received their final sealing, the plates are going already, so that's starting to take some nice shape. My air compressor is here, and that's going to the shop area. So as soon as that gets placed, we'll have electricians putting the connections to it. We'll also do air piping, it's going to serve as a wood shop and all in the back area. So that is actually happening as we speak. Actually, as well, we're opening maybe next week, if all goes well, they'll bring a crane in here. We'll be setting all the pre-neck units on the roof, all the exhaust fans, all the rooftop units. So that's a great day when that gets set. Then I can get all the gas pipe nutrition from all the floor right up to the curb, so those get the connections going, and then we can get that energized. And then also in the main area, the two-story section, we're hoping in a couple weeks that the flooring contract will start. We know it's not flooring. So right now, our contractor has been really working hard to get that stuff done in that big area, upper and heavy side work, because once that tile's laid, you're off that for 21 days. So we know they have to get out for all intents and purposes. And when that's done, we will be plywooding that floor off, just to add security to it. We just don't want to damage that tile. That's the final product, so we're very careful with that. But really, everybody's working really well together. Today we did have actually a nice get-together luncheon with all the contractors, and that was received very well by the site. It's always nice to say, we're halfway here, thanks for nice lunch, and it was thankful for time. So, you know, I think we were really blessed with good contractors. A lot of local boys working, and gals working here. It's wonderful. We are on schedule. That's all of that.
Steve, June 1st is
June 4th, though, is right scheduled right now, yeah, for the state inspector, that's what's on the docket right now, so, we'll hit that target, I'm sure we will. But Mother Nature threw us for a wrench the last couple of days, everybody's seen it, so we have a lot of snow on the roof, and the area we shouldn't have snow. But that's gonna do a little more shoveling up there, but hopefully we'll get the curbs exposed and get units. Any questions?
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Item 8, public forum. first of all, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Happy to see a few of you. Public forum provides the public with the opportunity to ask questions about or address issues included on the board meeting agenda. General operating rules of the public forum will be determined by the board president. Do we have anybody? Okay. Must be doing something right. Item 9, consent agenda. I do want to make one thing with the personnel committee. We did approve a renewal rate of our health insurance with UMR at 11%, which was awesome. Great, whatever, stand up. Just so many times.
Yeah, so we are not running great as a health insurance group. We're running 117 last year and 118 so far this year through the first 6 months. They came with a 19% renewal. We started looking at options. They came back and said, if we don't take it out to bid, we'll take it down to 11% based on what the market looked like, based on where we were running, and some of the changes in the volatility in the health insurance market. The decision was to recommend taking the 11% for 1 year, and then next year taking a long, hard look at some plan design changes that would be a little bit, look at trying to mitigate some of that increase. But right now, 11% when you're running at 119% is probably about the best we can move for. And personally, it is the best we can move for. So that's what we recommended, and that's what the committee approved. We did meet with the local, there's a group of 6, 7, Jackie, 8 staff members that meet with myself and Rod and our insurance broker to talk through our insurance options. So we did talk about different options, but our big issue is we have a lot of high-cost claimants, so if we can get some of that in control, then that will obviously help decrease our experience rate.
I just wanted everybody, I know you look at it, but I just wanted to make sure that's really good for us with our budget.
Say our prelim budget was what, 10?
10%.
Go.
Is there any other items somebody wanted to discuss with the other meetings? I will then seek a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion by Coleman,
I'll second.
second by Ness. Any more discussion?
All I need to abstain on the personnel committees.
Jackie, did you get that? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay, with the abstentions. Item 10, discussion possible decision approval of monthly voucher list.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by Nest. Second by Gorman. Roll call vote. Or any discussions? Okay, roll call vote.
Nest.
Nest.
Gorman.
Second by Gorman. Sorry, I'll slow down. Joe wants to watch the baseball game, so I'm supposed to. He keeps kicking the table. So I gotta keep going, Jack. That's great.
Reminded him what time it was though.
You did. I'm looking at the clock going, I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Kaiser. Yes. Bagel.
Yes.
Stankowski.
Yes.
Kavitsky.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
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 Baylor. Zero.
Yes.
Norman.
Yes.
All motion carries. Item number 11, discussion possible decision, acceptance of monthly treasurer's report.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ness, second by Gorman. I think Diane might want to watch this baseball game too. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Bagel.
Yes.
Stankowski.
Yes.
Kavitsky.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
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 Zero. Norman.
Yes.
Kaiser. Yes.
Motion carries. Item 12, new business. Discussion possible decision, start college now and early college credit program requests.
Yeah, if there's any questions, Mia's here to answer them, but as per state statute, we have, or board and state statute, students have up to 18 credits they can take during their high school career. It cannot be a class that's easily replicated here. So she'll be here to answer any questions if anybody has any, but otherwise we are recommending approval of our Start College Now and Early College Credit Program requests.
And I just sit down with both counselors and they go through those requests and make sure that there isn't anything that they're offered
document for this summer and fall.
There's quite a few.
Yeah.
All kids.
Yep, that's very wrong.
Do we know, do they search for their own school then, as far as where they're getting
So
credits from?
they work with both Katie Goodman and Gina Struble to identify classes that make sense for what they're taking post high school. Then UW, like Stevens Point and like the independent study, we go back up to the top for summer. It's basically a catalog that's available to students that they can look through and see what makes sense for them and what their plans are. And then if you look at the NTC coursework, there's a lot of very specialized courses that are available there. Again, based off of what students are thinking about post high school.
Students have to report their grades.
Yes.
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 Is there ever a time where you notice that a lot of kids are taking a certain course and they're looking at it and maybe we should talk about it? Or is that?
So
not typical?
I think I looked specifically at some of the NTC courses, and I think the conversation that we had in community might be something we could look at down the road. Again, some of those are very specialized. Even about the called 3, I don't know that we would have enough students in the building that potentially would warrant that course being offered. So we do look at it, we do look for some trends that our students are taking. Yeah, we just have a conversation about those.
Any other questions?
Yeah, we had a motion.
That was a motion, and a second, please give a vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Item 12B, discussion possible decision posting of a district phrase in all the classrooms. Well, me, I can do it.
Go ahead.
I was approached by Gary Crawford on email to have a phrase put in all the rooms, phrase you can see there, and wanted me to put it on the agenda. So I put it on the agenda for discussion and possible decision.
Just for the record, did Gary attend the strategic planning meeting? To provide input on mission vision statements?
This phrase currently a part of the district's, I mean, I could read one.
No, it's not.
It's not in our mission, vision, or any things we have in place.
Here's my concern, is I thought, I think the phrase is fine. The problem is that what would stop any member from saying, well, I want to play as a champion on everything, and I want all.
As you should.
Of course. But I think it's great, but the problem is, where do we draw the line if everybody's been able to do
No, I
it?
think as we're working through the strategic planning stuff too, that might take some opportunity to have. Whatever we come up with.
I would also suggest that there's other ways to accomplish this. We have public announcements constantly in school, and maybe there's a program where we have a phrase every day read or something. Please, I don't know, I mean, our administration is gonna handle this, but my concern is, I don't have a problem with the phrase, it's just that when the floodgates are open, where do we stop this?
I just think based on this strategic planning meeting we just had, I think it pays to just leave these things up to when we arrive at. We had a lot of good input, a lot of good discussions in that.
You don't have to take a vote, if you just move on. Is there any more discussion you want to do? Okay, I don't think we need to vote. It's something that I think the strategic plan eventually will be able to answer, okay? Okay. Thank you. Item 12C, discussion possible decision, day of the week, board meetings. I was approached, Greg was approached by several board members that want to have a discussion, wasn't me, about, because I did it before, about changing the date, especially after the one athletic event we had on a Tuesday. I think you missed your son.
I'll jump in, you with me.
Okay.
I
didn't want to throw you.
I know we have them scheduled for the next year, and I don't know what it looks like as far as they're already posted on and things like that. But as I look, as we have meetings on Tuesdays, a lot of districts use Mondays, a lot of districts use Wednesdays, everybody's Wednesdays, is in class night. Although game, a basketball game, a choir concert, I think, was on that same evening, and whatever else it entails, you know. Some discussion, we could look at it Monday or Wednesday.
I brought this up. I go a lot of events, but I brought up, and I did the research. Stratford meets on Wednesday, Everest meets on Wednesday, Point meets on Monday. Almost all the school districts, Wausau meets on a Wednesday. Most of Marathon meets on a Wednesday. Most of the school districts don't meet on Tuesdays anymore. And we voted once, and it was turned down, but I know you wanted it, and there was one or two other members that wanted to have a discussion. So, anybody else have input on?
I would, there was something about, I would not vote for Wednesday nights.
We made that commitment to, the Catholic faith and to the religion passage years ago that we would not have any sports or anything either. But additionally, like you stated, Dave, we already approved the calendar for the next year. For work purposes, I certainly build my calendar around that for as long as I can remember. The meetings have been on Tuesday nights. So to say that, I'm sorry, the optics of it are that it is for, so people don't have to miss their kids' events. But no matter what, you're gonna have practices every day of the week or events every day of the week. So it is what it is, and why we have to change it now.
I just wanted to clarify, it had nothing to do with that I didn't see my kids' events. There were many things, personally, especially keeping from that, it was specific to the chaos that was going on a Tuesday night. Just to clarify.
I want to make sure I don't think you're talking for this calendar, it'd be the next.
Correct, these were, we voted on them, I'm not interested in revisiting what we voted on. We
It
said
would be for the
calendar
27th.
for 2026, those are what they are. When we set the next board meeting calendar.
The only other options are Monday or Wednesday.
I'm fine with Monday, I would prefer Wednesday, I'm fine with Monday. I do think Tuesdays and Thursdays are hard days for administrators and people like to come to meetings.
I was, if anybody else.
So we have big crowds now. I mean, we moved from the district office to here, and we still don't have a bigger gathering. So what are we waiting for, I guess? If you're saying that you're not allowing more people to be here, or we're not bringing in more people in.
I'm not talking about necessarily people, I'm talking about administrators who are supposed to be at every event. That's just my feeling. I think that if there's other nights of the week that historically don't have things scheduled that would require them to be in two places at one time.
There's always going to be conflict with choir concerts or band. There's
But they're
always
never on
something.
Wednesdays.
But you don't. Exactly. For faith and religion.
But none of us are going to CCD.
Yeah.
Your children are, yeah. But you're not going to class.
Well, but there are other things.
But it's just, I mean, that's just, for me, I'd like to see school functions not happen on Wednesdays. Monday, I don't personally have a problem with that.
When do we approve? So why don't we just bring that back at that time? The month prior to discuss it, since we're already not changing it next year anyway. It just adds for that.
I have no problem with that. We can just table this. We can just table
They
it.
got-
It might want Thursday.
Yeah, I wasn't interested, but we already had the meeting approved next year, I'm not gonna go back and revisit that. Like I said, it was just, had nothing to do with what I missed. It was to reconsider future day of the week.
We can table this
Next
to.
calendar. I would say we should table it.
Table it to when we would meet, I think it's June.
Yeah, we did it right after the report. Shortly after.
I mean, it's, even though it might be kids, I do plan my activities around certain nights. And Wednesday nights is one of the nights that I do something with my spouse. So it's not just kids, you gotta think about other people that have plans in mind.
Board meeting dates, look, I'm sorry, Diane. Board meeting dates look like on the recurring agenda, I know are approved July. I think last year I brought them to you guys in June for a preliminary review. So you could say, if there's any dates you wanted to move, we could move it then and then bring the final ones in June. That's what I did last year.
save this to the journal.
I didn't want the first time anybody heard that to be.
Personally, I think there's always going to be conflicts if it's a Monday or Tuesday, that's whatever.
It's good to
I would be opposed to
guys,
that.
the one thing I do appreciate about this board is that we're able to have discussions in different viewpoints. And that's kind of what we're doing to represent. My viewpoint when I first brought it up was right there, that those people who are going to be able to be here and answer questions that we can hear. Because a lot of them have to supervise events. They're our supervisors. So, okay, thank you for the excellent discussion. Item 12D, discussion possible decision, second reading new policy 5135, student identification numbers and comments.
Yeah, this is the second reading of the policy. There was no questions after the first reading, so I'm bringing back the second reading as first.
Okay, we have a motion by Gorman and a second by Kaiser. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item E, 12E, discussion possible decision, second reading, new policy 6608, accountability and oversight of fundraising and crowdfunding disbursements.
I did make the one change that was requested last month, so other than that, this is the same policy with the one change adding the Board of Ed as administration in that one section.
Motion by Gorman, second by
Go ahead.
Hernandez. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Item F, discussion possible decision, second reading new policy 9211, district support organization.
And this was same as the previous two, just second reading. No questions on the last one, so this is the same one.
Any more discussion? Motion by Gorman. You must want, the basketball game started. Who's second?
Second.
Yes? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we are on item G. Discussion possible decision staff engagement survey. I put this on the agenda. So we had discussed about doing a staff survey, other surveys. When I was down at the convention, I talked to the school perception people. I wanted to bring this up to you. They gave me some ballpark figures, and I was a little concerned that this is money. And I just emailed you something, but if we just do a staff survey, it might run us anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. If we want to do more, it's obviously going to be more. I didn't realize that the last time we did a survey for the referendum, it was, I think, $6,000 or $7,000. I just emailed you, I put together, and I know some of you are concerned about this, but I just sent you a Google Docs form that only I have access to. Maybe I messed up. It should be there. Oh yeah, it's not published. Maybe I can't share it with you. Yeah.
So are you trying to say you want to do a staff survey through Google?
I just took their questions and put it through Google. But I did it with this, I'm the only one that knows, nobody else gets it at all. I know what your concern was, that's why I didn't do it, I want to discuss it. My real thing is, I don't know about you, but I received an unbelievable amount of phone calls, emails, discussions about tax bills. And I'm very concerned with us approving a $3,000 to $5,000 expenditure to survey our staff. Maybe there's another way to do it, I don't know, but I just think this would not look good for us after a lot of people reset their tax bill. So I want to have a discussion about it. The one
How
I
often
put,
do we do a survey?
What's that?
When's the last time we did a survey and how often?
we used to do,
2022 through perception. We did it
yeah.
for about a handful of years. And then you can do all the surveys you want, but then what are you going to do with the results? So that's what we as a board need to ensure that if we're going to survey and we do take the time to get opinions, then we do something to implement and make forward progress
concern that I've eliminated is I would be the only one that this information comes back, that I could share with the board. That's it. Nobody else. We used to have the administrative people do the survey, and that's what a lot of people were concerned about. Am I gonna, if I know who it is it gonna be manipulated? I just don't think that's.
Did we do the family engagement perception survey? That was Google?
Yeah, that was a Google.
Did we have issues with it, or how did that?
Tom, you did it. Did we have issues with it?
I guess what issues?
I mean, there was
Using
all the
the
information
Google
came back to
survey.
you,
Oh,
right?
yeah, responses came back. Nobody had access issues.
Do you know how much that would cost? Perception survey said, obviously, to the staff, community, it's gonna be more of a cost.
No, we didn't look into that. It was really internal data to drive some of that strategic planning conversation. So the purpose didn't necessarily, at least in the short term, necessitate looking out for an outside vendor.
So on the last one, was the presentation manipulated, or did we feel like the data was manipulated?
This was many years ago.
Right, well, if that's our concern, I'd be, you can always manipulate your ending results to be what you need it to be, but if somebody actually went in and changed the results, that's another thing.
Can you make it anonymous?
Yes.
Right. But I was a staff member at that time. And the problem was people didn't feel comfortable. They said, yeah, sure, I can fill this out and I can say what I really mean, but is it going to impact on?
And that was with
And that was a big concern for the staff members, is that they didn't want to be incriminated because they made a bad remark or something, or.
To be honest, that was with no perception survey.
Right.
And it wasn't who was doing it, it was his big brother watching us.
Yeah, that was the problem with it. And I don't think we had a real true number of staff members that actually answered it. I mean, to really validate the outcome.
I don't know if you do it through Google or perceptions, I don't know if you
I
have,
think
I don't know that anybody would feel that much better about it anyway. So anytime we get one through whatever software they do, I'm sure David gets one, anywhere you work, I'm sure you've got one.
My
There's
personal
always that
preference
underlying concern that it's really not
is that
necessary.
I won't vote to pay $35,000 to do a survey that I just copied the questions and put it in there. I just can't justify it. I got a lot of flack with taxes, especially in the middle there.
I'm fine with, I don't know enough about the different options available to Google Forms, Survey Monkey. I don't know enough about any of them. I'm fine taking the Google route or another cheap, free, inexpensive type of route.
Yeah, we can do it. But the thing about it is I would send it out, me, and then we'd share the
I
information.
think the questions aren't the question. It's the delivery
Yes.
or the mode in which the questions are answered. So,
And the analysis, and is everything gonna be raw, is everything gonna be summarized, how is it gonna be, and how is it gonna be utilized to better the district?
You want to have this data available for
They did that already for the strategic plan. This could also be available before April. Yeah. This was really about evaluating the administration and things like that. If somebody wants to make a motion, I'll send a survey.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion to approve the Google thing. I have a second. Any discussion?
But I guess it is, I have a couple other questions.
I can see it both ways, but I feel like this would also help gauge what we should be focusing on as well.
Okay, any more questions? Jackie, we're gonna do a roll call vote. Okay, the motion is to do a Google survey that I do. Roll call vote, please.
Abel?
No.
Sandowski?
Yes.
Kaminsky?
Yes.
Howard?
No.
Hess?
Yes.
Taylor? No. Zero?
Yeah.
Mormon? No. Kaiser?
Motion carries, right, 5-4.
Yes.
Motion carries. I will get that out. Okay, item 13, administrative reports.
The only thing I have to add to mine, you asked me for some information, I put that in there, and then the one thing, I sent you an email today. I did not put in, the date of the legislative meeting is April 20th. So if you would like to go, in your email would be the invite, so I need to know so they can do a head count for food purposes. So that'd be April 20th. So if you plan on going, just drop me an email, or tell me before you leave tonight, I'll get you added to that list. I heard back from, I believe, 3 of you already.
That's at DC Business.
That's at DC Everest Middle School. Yep.
You used to have that somewhere else, correct?
Used to be at Medford. It was at Medford the last couple of years. It's been at Medford forever, and Medford was looking to get rid of it. They've hosted it. Hosted it going back, I remember when I was at Abbotsford, it was still there, so you're talking 15, 16 years ago. And Everest has decided to have, it's a Monday, I believe, and then Tuesday's the board meeting, and then Wednesday is the new. Okay.
Anybody else, administration?
I'd just like to thank those that participated in the strategic plan process. I thought it was a great night, a lot of great conversations and good feedback and data for the participants. If you want to participate in the second one, you're welcome. Anybody who wants to, whether you were at the first one or not, I think it was just a lot to be able.
Jesse, I thought it went very well.
Tax Day, April 15th.
Not a fan of the sign seating. I think it was very similar to the last time we had strategic planning. I just like to see more natural conversations come about because I felt like it was board member, administrator, and teacher at every table, and then the community members as well, but it was just very, I think, district heavy. So I'm just putting myself into the community member's shoes. Would I be willing to say anything, any criticisms of the district if my table was district staff or district representative heavy? That's my own concern.
And my table got some great insight to business, people that did not know what they were. Then there was a teacher from also West that has kids in the district, so I really got a lot of different perspectives on things. The business stuff was awesome because just to hear, we're so into education that we never get a chance to see a little business, part of what people are, and they were awesome, the discussion was awesome. Okay, anybody else?
No, I thought it was great. I thought, the gentleman that Raymond did a great job.
Okay. Awesome. Item 14, other reports, we have the last meeting report.
I did see that they released the dates for the state convention. January 20th, 22nd, I think, or 27th? Yeah, 20th to the 22nd.
The 19th.
Right.
We leave on the 19th.
Wednesday. So the
That-
19th.
that is the one
meeting
time
of
our school board meeting is always that one day before the convention.
And then just to add on to Calandra's, Wasbury School Board, November 22nd, so 3 days ago.
Anything else? Thank you for doing that. Item 14B, the CISA 9 report.
Season 9 report is going to be a video, but before we do that, when I was at the Season 9 breakfast, I had the opportunity because elementary is on the season for API board. And so we had API members on our table. And I mentioned to them that we're having a grand opening or a ribbon cutting probably in the fall. And they asked that we invite them to the ribbon cutting. So that was, it was very interesting. And this is the season.
CISA are the connection points where districts come together to share solutions and learn from one another. Whether it's curriculum development, instructional coaching, or special education support, the CISA network solves challenges.
CISA serves as a conduit to always keep us on track with whatever the new rollout is, whatever the new state requirements are. And what makes that special is that we get to collaborate with other districts.
Across the state, CISAs host regional networks that unite educators at every level, sharing best practices, aligning strategies, and driving innovation.
Having that connection where you walk into the building and you have 39 other superintendents sitting there and 39 people sharing their ideas and their philosophies, it's really priceless.
Every CISA is built on the belief that strong schools begin with strong educators. That's why the CISA network delivers instructional learning, coaching, and leadership training that advances teaching and accelerates student success. I would love to be able to offer professional development for everybody in the district and everything they need. We can't possibly do that. And CISA, they live and breathe best practices in all sorts of areas. And so we reach out to them, we utilize them year after year to bring in all kinds of different types of professional development because we couldn't possibly have that capacity on our own to do that. From first-year teachers to district leaders, CISAs provide the support, training, and certification programs that help educators grow.
I cannot imagine navigating this space that is responsible for directing so many areas without CISA. If I have a question about CTE, I know exactly who I'm going to call. If I have a question about GT, I know who I'm going to call. If I have a question about Act 20, I know who I'm going to call. And all of those contacts bring me to my system.
Districts face many complex challenges: technology, staffing, and business operations. And CISAs deliver cost-effective solutions to meet those needs. By sharing services across districts, CISAs reduce costs, eliminate duplication, and create opportunities.
They provide access to literacy experts, curriculum and instruction directors, specialized services such as occupational therapy, physical therapy. A lot of those services that it's just not practical for small districts to have in their own budget.
CISAs also provide districts with a shared voice on the issues that matter most in education, helping decision makers understand the real challenges and needs facing Wisconsin schools.
The opportunity to be able to speak to state legislators, elected officials directly, they coordinate those opportunities, and it makes it far more efficient than having multiple school districts reaching out. Having them hear from us collectively is valuable, and it helps move public education forward.
One network, 12 regions, thousands of educators, hundreds of thousands of students. Together, CISAs are building the future of education, one partnership
one solution, one student at a time.
Thank you. All right, item 15, future agenda items.
Yeah, this is the ones that are on for next month, would be recognition of school board service, statement of board of canvassers, spring elections coming up, student handbooks, student fees, 4K contracts, mid-year audit, food service presentation.
Wherever you're gonna have that one for the records. Policy.
Anything else? Gentlemen, when we go into closed session, that's when we talk about this. Yep. Just want you to be aware. You've been sitting here a long time without any snacks. No shift. Item 16, movement into closed session, executive session. Section 19.